All right, let's talk about something that's, well, it's a huge challenge for a lot of people. Trying to buy a new home at the exact same time you're selling your current one. It feels like a high wire act, for sure. But here's the thing, with the right strategy, it's totally doable. So let's kick things off with the one question that causes all the stress.
So this is the big question, right? Is it actually possible to pull this off? Can you really time the sale of your old house with the purchase of your new one so perfectly that you just move from one to the other, without having to crash on a friend's couch or, even worse, pay for two mortgages at once? The short answer is, yeah, it can be done. But as you're about to see, the reality is usually a bit more complicated.
And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The dream versus the reality. We all imagine the smooth, easy transition where you just pack up the truck and move across town. But the reality? For most people, it's one of the most stressful, nail-biting experiences you can go through. That stress, though, it comes from not knowing what's next. And today, we're going to replace that uncertainty with a solid plan.
Okay, so let's really define the challenge here. We're calling it the homeowner's juggling act. Because honestly, that's exactly what it feels like. You're trying to keep all these incredibly important balls in the air at the same time, and you're terrified one is going to drop.
And you've got to remember the context we're in. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening in a super competitive market where there just aren't a lot of houses for sale. What that means is being prepared isn't just a nice idea, it's everything. Your strategy is what's going to make or break this whole thing.
So, now that we get the problem, it's a massive juggle, let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about a strategy for success. The good news is there's a proven way to turn this crazy, high-stakes situation into something you can actually manage.
And I really want to drive this point home. Success here is not about crossing your fingers and hoping you get lucky with timing. It's about a real, honest-to-goodness process that's designed to manage the chaos, keep you organized, and make sure you stay on track from the very beginning to the very end.
So what is this process? What's the secret sauce? Well, we've boiled it all down into a 5-step game plan. Think of this as your roadmap, the thing that's going to get you from your current front door to your new one with your sanity still in one piece.
Okay, here it is, the high-level view of our game plan. Step 1, plan early. Step 2, meet a lender. 3, protect your interests. 4, list first. And 5, coordinate everything. Now, let's dive in and break down what each of these really means for you.
First up, planning. And look, this starts way before you even think about putting a for sale sign in your yard. Get your moving company booked well in advance. But, and this is huge, have a plan B. What happens if there's a delay for a week or a month? Knowing if you can stay with family or have a short-term rental option takes a huge weight off your shoulders.
All right, step 2 is all about the money. It is so important to meet with a lender before you even list your house. Seriously, this is more than just getting a pre-approval letter. It's about getting your entire financial picture structured correctly so you know exactly what you can afford and can move fast and with confidence when you find that perfect new home.
Now, step 3, this is your get-out-of-jail-free card. It's your safety net. You need to make the sale of your current home contingent on you buying your next home. You literally write it into the contract. It says, hey, I'm only selling you my house if I actually succeed in buying a new one. This is an absolute non-negotiable way to protect yourself from ending up homeless.
And yeah, that quote right there, it is so real. That fear of selling your house and then having nowhere to go, it's terrifying. It's probably the biggest anxiety people have in this situation. But our next step is how you deal with that fear in a really smart, strategic way. Which brings us to a step that's going to sound a little backward at first. I get it. You have to list your home first before you make an offer on a new one. I know, that sounds risky, especially after we just talked about protecting yourself. But think about it from the seller's perspective. In a hot market, they're not going to take your offer seriously unless they see that you're serious about selling. And having your house already on the market proves that. With that contingency from step 3 in your back pocket, this becomes a power move, not a risk. And finally, step 5. This is all about execution. You're basically running 2 huge complex projects at the same time. Having a professional team, an expert, to coordinate everything, the timelines, the mountain of paperwork, the communication between the buyers and the sellers. That's what turns this crazy juggling act into a smooth, managed process. Okay, so that's the game plan on paper. It sounds good, right? But does this stuff actually work out in the wild, in the real world? Let's take a look at a real-life example.
6 months. I mean, that is an eternity in real estate, right?
You hear that and you think something must have gone horribly wrong. But in this case, it was actually the secret to making a super complicated deal work out perfectly for everyone.
And this is just a perfect example of how this strategy works. The seller followed the plan. They put their home on the market with the right protections, and they found a buyer who absolutely fell in love with it. That buyer was so committed they were willing to be patient and wait 6 whole months while the seller found their own dream home. It just proves that when you communicate clearly and have a solid plan, you can make amazing things happen.
So, let's bring it all home. The goal here is to stop looking at this whole process as some impossible mountain to climb. It's not. It's just a series of manageable steps. It's all about making your move possible by being smart and deliberate.
So if you're going to remember anything from all this, let it be these 3 things. Number 1, preparation is king. The work you do up front is what sets you up for success. Number 2, contingencies are your best friend. They protect you. Always get it in writing. And number 3, don't try to be a hero and do it alone. Expert guidance is critical to pull off this coordination.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you've seen the game plan, what is the very first step you can take to start planning your move? Because a successful move doesn't start with a for sale sign in the yard. It starts with a great plan. And that is how you turn this stressful juggling act into a successful and maybe even enjoyable move.